It begins, as many holy things do, with the sound of a bucket tipping over. The splash echoes through the stone corridor like a hymn that's lost its rhythm. You open one eye, you do not rush, you never do. The morning smells like wet wool, burned barley, and something porcine. You blink again. Yes, definitely, pig. Now stretch. One paw, then the other. Flex your claws into the worn grain of the wooden shelf above the sacristy door. It groans. Everything in this place groans. Floorboards, monks, theology. Outside, the wind stirs the ivy. The bell has not rung yet. That means you still have time. Time to observe, to judge, to remain superior. You descend from your perch with the dignity only a well-fed abbey cat can manage. The hall is cold. The flagstones press their memory into your paws. Every crack, every echo, every miracle long forgotten. You follow the scent of trouble. It leads to Brother Martin. He is young. Too young. His robes still smell of vinegar and fear. He stands in the courtyard, barefoot, face damp with sweat or conviction. It's hard to tell which. In his trembling hands, a wooden bowl filled with holy water. It sloshes. At his feet, the pig, a creature of mud and muscle, pink in theory, brown in practice. It eyes him with the weary intelligence of something who has already escaped once, maybe twice. Its ears flick, its snout twitches. It does not respect him. You sit. The stone is cold beneath you. The air smells of wet hay, crushed mint, and nervous faith. Brother Martin raises his hand. In the name of the Father, you lick your paw. You've heard this before. The Son, the pig snorts. And the pig bolts. Now pulse. Let the scene settle. Let your whiskers absorb the chaos. A shout. A splash. The bowl flies. Holy water arcs through the air like grace misunderstood. It lands with a sad plop on the paving stones. The pig barrels past the herb garden, snapping basil as it goes. Brother Martin runs after it, tripping over his hem, gasping something about purification. You blink once, then twice. You do not move, because this is not your emergency. One curious theory says cats were once worshipped for their stillness. Another says they're just waiting to reclaim their thrones. You remain undecided. Brother Martin disappears behind the garden wall. The pig is faster. You hear a crash, possibly a wheelbarrow. From the chapel, a bell finally rings. Late, as always, you rise, saunter toward the door. Holy water seeps between the stones beside you. You sniff it. It smells like thyme, tin, and disappointment. Someone once told you cats can't be baptized. You never asked to be. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Leave a comment with your location and what time it is where you are. I love seeing where you're all tuning in from. Now, dim the lights. Take a breath. Let yourself settle into the rhythm of wet feet and frantic prayer. And just as you reach the cloister archway, the pig rounds the corner again, eyes wide, mouth open, rope trailing behind like a snake that gave up. Brother Martin follows, soaked, muddied, still holding the empty bowl. You sit down directly in their path. You don't know why, but it feels right. The pig stops just short of you. You stare into its soul. It oinks. You meow. Brother Martin collapses onto the grass. You blink, and the day has only just begun. The pig is panting. Steam rises from its flanks like incense gone rogue. Its hooves have chipped the herb garden into unholy confetti. Basil, sage, one unfortunate violet. You inhale deeply. It smells like chaos and breakfast. Brother Martin lies motionless in the grass. His robe is soaked. One sandal is missing. His expression, turned to the sky, suggests either divine revelation or the early symptoms of regret. You step closer. The earth is soft beneath your paws, wet and springy, like kneaded dough left out in the rain. The pig glances at you. You return the look with appropriate neutrality. Its snout twitches. Its tail flaps once in vague defiance. Then it collapses beside Brother Martin with a groan that seems theological in tone. From the cloister, voices, older monks, gravelly ones. Their sandals slap stone like slow accusations. Brother Martin hears them too. He sits up with the stunned grace of a mushroom struck by lightning. You do not move. The boy stammers. I was trying. The rulebook said. He looks at the pig, then at you, as if hoping one of you will speak on his behalf. You yawn. The voices draw nearer. Brother Absalom appears first. His beard is magnificent. His eyebrows are heavier than his gaze. He surveys the scene in silence. Behind him, Brother Thomas, shorter, rounder, and carrying a ladle. It is not symbolic. He simply refuses to go anywhere unarmed. Well, Brother Absalom says. Brother Martin gulps. I was attempting a preemptive purification to ward off swine fever and possibly pride. Brother Thomas narrows his eyes. You try to baptize a pig? Brother Martin nods. The pig farts. You consider this a form of commentary. Now breathe. Let the morning air fill your chest. Earth, hay, failure. Let the stillness settle. Brother Absalom exhales slowly. The Lord baptizes souls, he says, not sausages. Brother Thomas snorts. The ladle clinks against his belt. Brother Martin shrinks into himself like dough in cold butter. The pig rolls onto its side, exposing a belly crusted with mud and mystery. It snores. You step forward and delicately place one paw on the rim of the fallen holy water bowl. It rocks. All three monks stare at you. One curious theory says cats are sacred in at least 9 religions. Another theory says they simply act like it until someone believes them. You flick your tail. Brother Absalom sighs. The pig may remain unblessed, but it is clearly chosen. Brother Thomas mutters, chosen for supper if it keeps breaking fences. Brother Martin opens his mouth, closes it, opens it again, then says softly, I'll clean the garden. You meow softly, not in approval, not in comfort, just in acknowledgement. You turn, step over the pig, and begin your ascent up the chapel stairs, leaving muddy prints on every other step. The pig grunts, the monks disperse, and somewhere behind the clouds, heaven politely looks the other way. Inside the chapel, it is always slightly colder than it should be. Not enough to see your breath, just enough to feel it in your whiskers. A stillness you could bite through. If you were the kind of creature who bit stillness, you are not. You are a cat. and you have entered the holy place with all the reverence of someone who knows they cannot be excommunicated. Your paws make no sound on the stone floor. The scent here is old wood, burnt wax, dried herbs, and something else beneath it all, prayer residue, the sort that clings to pews and vestments and the cracked lips of men who forgot why they started whispering in the first place. You pass beneath the high arch of the nave. Sunlight filters through the stained glass windows, slicing the dust into fragments of red, gold, and pale martyr blue. The saints stare downward, blank, eternal, unimpressed. You stare back. There are no mice in here today. They know better. You leap up onto the edge of the altar rail. The wood is worn smooth by generations of elbows and unfulfilled bargains. It creaks. The crucifix above you creaks louder. Brother Martin enters. Quietly. His robe is clean now, his hair damp, his dignity partially restored, though he still walks like someone expecting divine punishment in the form of a falling broom. He carries a smaller bowl this time, just enough water for a single splash. He's learning. You blink at him. He stops halfway up the aisle, clutching the bowl as if it might float away. He glances at you, then down the pews, then at the crucifix. No one says anything. He walks to the front, places the bowl gently on the altar. It wobbles. He adjusts it. It wobbles again. You sniff. The water smells holier today, fresher, less ambitious. He kneels. He doesn't speak. One curious theory says true faith makes no sound. Another says silence is just guilt pretending to be holy. Brother Martin bows his head. The bowl reflects the light. For a moment you can see yourself in it. Long body, narrow face, tail curled like a question. You dip a paw into it, casually. It ripples. Brother Martin looks up, startled, then smiles. Not fully, but it's there. The edge of it, the kind that hasn't been seen in days. He doesn't scold you. He just sits. You sit too. For 5 whole minutes, nothing moves. No monks enter. No pigs shriek. No bells ring. Only the faint sound of wind scratching against the chapel doors, like a cat that hasn't earned its way inside. You purr. Softly. A low vibration. Not for anyone else. Just for the stone beneath you. For the echo it makes. For the way even the quietest sounds carry in a place like this. Brother Martin whispers something. It's not a prayer. It's a name. You do not know who it belongs to, but you understand the shape of it, the weight. You curl your tail around your paws. You blink once, then again, and just as you begin to close your eyes, a distant oink slices through the silence. You both free. Closer. The pig. It's back. You look at Brother Martin. He looks at you. He says nothing, but his shoulders fall, and you already know he's going to try again. The pig returns like a parable with no moral. You hear it before you see it. The slow, confident clatter of hooves on stone. No panic this time, no flailing rope, just deliberate steps, heavy and unbothered, like someone late to a meeting they have no intention of attending. You leap down from the altar rail with the grace of a creature who has never failed at anything. Brother Martin stands slowly, straightens his robe, adjusts the bowl. He is trying to appear composed. It's not working. The pig enters through the side door, nudging it open with its snout like it owns the place, which, in a way, it does now. It snuffles the air, it grunts once, then walks straight down the center aisle, leaving wet prints and the unmistakable scent of barnyard redemption. You follow at a distance, because today you are the only witness this ceremony will have, and witnesses should not interfere, only remember. Brother Martin clears his throat. The pig stops 3 steps from the altar. He looks up. Their eyes meet. One curious theory says animals can recognize sacred spaces. Another claims they simply go where the light is warmest. The morning sun falls in a square right over the pig's ears. Brother Martin lifts the bowl. No sermon, no theatrics, just water. He dips 2 fingers in. The pig does not move. You perch on the pew. The wood smells like polish and penance. You knead it softly. Brother Martin raises his hand over the pig's head. He hesitates, just long enough to make you blink. Then he lets the water fall. 3 droplets. That's all. One lands on the pig's snout, one on the left ear. The last vanishes into the mud-matted fur between the eyes. The pig doesn't flinch. It just blinks, then snorts, not loudly, not mockingly, just honestly. Brother Martin lowers his hand. He says softly, "Hey." You twitch your tail. The pig turns, walks back down the aisle. No drama, no running. It leaves as it came, unguided, unimpressed, and undeniably present. Brother Martin exhales. The bowl is empty now. He places it gently on the altar. It makes a small sacred clink. You jump up beside it, sniff the rim. Still time, still tin, but calmer somehow, quieter. He looks at you. You saw that, didn't you? You blink once, then again. He nods. You're a good cat. You are not. You are a precise cat, and precision remembers. Outside, the pig grunts again, farther now, perhaps in the garden, perhaps on its way to spread the gospel of indifference. Brother Martin sits on the step beside the altar. He doesn't speak, neither do you. For a long while nothing happens, just the light shifting across the chapel floor, just the dust settling, just 2 living things sitting near a bowl that no longer holds water, but still holds something. Memory, maybe, or at least intention. And just as you close your eyes, warm from the sun and silence, the bell rings, not for mass, not for prayer, just because it's morning, and some things ring whether or not anyone's listening. The pig has become a legend. It takes less than a day. By Vespers, the entire monastery is buzzing. Quietly, of course. Monks do not gossip. They reflect. They murmur. They share contemplative concern. All of which sound remarkably like gossip. You watch from your perch on the kitchen windowsill. It smells like boiled turnip, reheated barley, and that faint sting of soap that never quite rinses clean. The cook, Brother Elias, is muttering to himself as he stirs a pot with more effort than purpose. She said it walked through the herb beds like it owned the place, he grumbles. Brother Tomas, ladle still in hand, leans on the doorframe. It let him do it. The water didn't flinch, not once. Elias snorts. That's not faith, that's stubbornness. You stretch. Your back arches, your claws flex against the cold stone. A single leaf of cabbage slides off the table beside you and flops wetly onto the floor. Neither monk notices, because now Brother Absalom is entering. The room shifts. He walks like judgment wrapped in a rope belt. His beard is still magnificent, his hands clasped behind him as if to keep from grabbing the world by the collar. "What are we calling it now?" he asks. No one answers. "So he does," said Swine. Brother Tomas coughs. Brother Elias stares hard at the pot. "I never said that." One curious theory says humans cannot resist naming miracles. Another says they just don't like loose ends. You leap down softly and brush past Brother Absalom's ankle. He looks down, meets your gaze. You do not blink. He nods. Approval, resignation, mild jealousy, hard to say. You exit through the side door. The courtyard is damp again. Morning's rain has turned the flagstones slick. You step between puddles with the skill of one who has slipped before. The pig is lying in the herb garden, again, in the exact same spot it trampled yesterday. You approach slowly. It watches you with the dull intelligence of someone who has achieved enlightenment and found it overrated. You sit beside it. The mud smells richer today, warmer. Someone threw marjoram clippings over the fence. They mix with the pig's musk into something oddly sacred. Now breathe. The sun is warm on your spine. The basil leans toward it too. You do not move. From behind the cloister wall, you hear the novices whisper. Did you hear Brother Martin's doing a second blessing tomorrow? Just in case the first didn't take? Just in case it did. You close your eyes. The pig snorts. You purr. Not loud, not proud, just steady. Because you already know how this will go. The pig will grunt. Brother Martin will hesitate. Water will splash. Someone will drop a ball. And someone else will write it all down badly. You'll be mentioned in passing. The cat, the observer, the witness who never looked away. And just as the pig begins to dream, twitching slightly, ears flicking at something only it can see, the wind shifts. It carries the smell of wet parchment, ink, a quill, and someone preparing to file a report to the bishop. You open one eye, because tomorrow there may be an audience, and even miracles need rehearsal. By the time the rooster crows, late, confused as usual, the courtyard has been swept 3 times. The flagstones are still cracked. The pig has re-muddied the basil patch, but everything smells of effort, of soap, of trampled time, of Brother Martin's second-best robe, which he keeps smoothing as if that will make it holy. You sit atop the cloister wall, high enough to see, low enough to judge. The pig lies center stage, snoring gently, surrounded by 3 carefully placed buckets of water. One is for the ritual, one is for backup. One is for when the ritual fails, and everyone needs to pretend it didn't. The monks gather in clumps like spilled barley, tight-knit, easy to sweep, liable to scatter if you sneeze near them. You yawn. The pig snorts. Brother Martin stands near the well, clutching a small silver ladle like it's a relic from the Old Testament. His hands shake only slightly. One curious theory says saints sweat before their miracles. Another says it's just nerves and unseasoned turnip stew. The villagers begin to arrive, mostly women with baskets, children with twigs, old men with folded arms and the stubborn posture of unpaid taxes. You can smell them before you see them. Wool, smoke, dried figs, damp bread, and unspoken laughter. They line the edges of the courtyard, not quite inside, not quite out. The monastery hasn't had this many visitors since the bishop's mule threw a shoe during Lent. Someone whispers, "Is the pig really blessed?" Another hisses, "I heard it bowed at the altar." A third murmurs, "I just came for the cheese rolls." You flick your ear. There are no cheese rolls. Brother Absalom steps forward. The sun catches the edge of his beard like it's considering promotion. He raises one hand. The crowd falls mostly quiet, except the pig, who lets out a long, wet sigh and rolls over, flashing its belly like a heretic, with nothing left to lose. You leap down from the wall. Your paws press into the soft moss between the stones. Each step is silent, intentional. You circle the edge of the gathering like a shadow with opinions. Brother Absalom clears his throat. "Today," he says, "we reaffirm Brother Martin's spiritual undertaking, not as spectacle, not as doctrine, but as a matter of agricultural harmony." Someone coughs. You sit beside the pig. It doesn't flinch. You and it share a look. It's not understanding. It's older than that. Brother Martin steps forward. He dips the ladle into the first bowl. It clinks. He raises it. The water catches the light, clean, silver, forgiving. He speaks. "In the name..." The pig sneezes. The ladle trembles. A single drop falls. A single drop falls, lands squarely on your paw. You look at him. He looks terrified. The crowd inhales as one. And then the pig stands, just like that, on all fours. No oinking, no squealing. It turns once in a circle, then walks deliberately, peacefully, into the center of the herb garden, sits down in the rosemary, and begins to chew its own tail. A child claps. Someone gasps, "It chose rosemary! That's the healing herb." Another whispers, "It knows." Brother Martin lowers the ladle. He is pale. He is damp. He is a legend now. Brother Tomas mutters, "I still say we roast it by Michaelmas." You blink slowly. You lick the drop of holy water from your paw. It tastes like iron and time and fear. The villagers begin to murmur louder. Some leave coins at the base of the well. Some kneel. One offers Brother Martin a jar of pickled eggs. The pig continues chewing its tail. You curl beside it. Because this is not a miracle. This is not faith. This is theater. But it's good theater. And just as the sun reaches the edge of the bell tower and someone begins to sing a hymn off-key, you feel it. Not holiness, not divine purpose, just the warm, soft certainty that in this absurd corner of the world, you are the only creature who knows exactly what happened. And you are not telling anyone. By sunset, the pig has been promoted. Not officially. No scroll was signed. But the villagers now refer to it in hushed tones, as if saying its name too loudly might summon a second miracle. You lie curled on the warm slate of the chapel roof. Below you, a flurry of reverent nonsense. Children draw chalk halos around the pig's hoofprints. An old woman ties a red ribbon to the rosemary bush it sat in. Someone has begun sketching it in charcoal on a scrap of parchment, though the result looks more like a sheep with regrets. Brother Martin, he hasn't stopped blinking since noon. He floats from one corner of the courtyard to the next, offering vague blessings and nervous nods, followed by a small child who insists on calling him Saint Assistant. You roll onto your side. The roof stone holds the sun's warmth just a little longer than the earth. You press your back to it like you're trying to store the day. It smells of lichen, candle soot, and dried bird droppings. Not sacred, but real. Below, the pig naps in the very center of the cloister. It is snoring. Someone has placed a garland of wilting dandelions around its neck. You watch the whole scene through narrowed eyes. Now pause. Let the rhythm slow. Let your body relax against the stone. The world will spin with or without you. From the far end of the courtyard, a new voice rises. You know, says a man in a broad hat, they say the pig healed a child yesterday. You perk an ear. Another replies, I heard it wept during the Gloria. A third adds, my cousin's rooster hasn't crowed since. There is a beat. No one knows if that's part of the miracle or just inconvenient poultry. You sigh. One curious theory says truth dies quietly in crowds. Another says cats are the only creatures incapable of true belief. You disagree. You believe in warmth, in patience, in the quiet honesty of observation. And what you're observing now is madness, pleasant madness, but madness all the same. Brother Tomas appears with a broom and begins to herd the remaining villagers toward the gates. Vespers, he announces, no gawking during compline. They protest, softly. He waves the broom with the fury of someone who once lost a debate to a goose and never fully recovered. You leap from the roof, land silently on the grass. Cross the courtyard. The pig opens one eye as you approach. You both sit in silence, side by side. Theirs is a shared stillness, one of contentment, not understanding. The moth flutters past. You don't chase it. You've outgrown the need for distractions. Brother Absalom stands just inside the chapel door, arms crossed, brow heavy. He watches the last of the crowd drift away. His eyes meet yours. He doesn't speak, but his expression is clear. Tomorrow, something must be done. This cannot continue. Miracles are messy. Pigs are not policy. And fame is a fungus. You yawn. The pig burps. Brother Absalom sighs and turns inside. And as the stars begin to bloom across the velvet sky, you curl beside the pig, because tomorrow will be complicated. Tomorrow will involve rules. And tonight is just stillness and fur and the fading smell of time. Morning arrives with authority. Not gently, not like mist curling over grass or the lazy clang of chapel bells. No. This is the kind of morning that arrives in boots. You hear them before you smell them. Thick soles, hard leather, purpose. You're in the cloister garden again, wedged between the rosemary bush and a stone wall still radiating last night's heat. The pig is asleep beside you, twitching softly, as if chasing a smaller pig in its dreams. You blink toward the courtyard arch. 2 horses, 1 cart, 3 men in robes that are too clean, too sharp, too official. You twitch your ear. Visitors from the bishopric. They smell like bureaucracy and mint oil and the kind of paper you can't pee on without consequence. Brother Absalom greets them at the gate. His tone is calm, his shoulders are not. You rise, stretch, watch from beneath the laurel bush. The pig does not wake. One of the visitors carries a scroll tube. Another carries a book bound in goat leather and promises. The third carries nothing, which means he is the most dangerous. They enter the courtyard with slow precision, the kind of slowness that says, "We know you're lying, we just haven't decided how loudly to say it yet." Brother Martin appears halfway through, a nervous blessing. His words stumble. The ladle in his belt clangs softly as he bows. You don't have to be fluent in Latin to know he's in trouble. The pig snorts, rolls over. Its snout lands directly in the patch of sage it desecrated 2 days ago. The visitor with the scroll whispers something to the one with the book. They are not smiling. Brother Tomas mutters something about roasting pans. Brother Elias loudly drops a ladle somewhere out of view. You remain still. This is not your moment. You are simply the footnote, watching the chapter unfold. The visitor with nothing speaks. The bishop has received troubling reports. Brother Absalom folds his arms. Reports from whom? The man does not answer. Which is an answer? Brother Martin tries to smile. It is the facial equivalent of a collapsing bench. The pig sneezes. Someone gasps. One curious theory says divine skepticism is thicker near harvest season. Another says monks hate when pigs get more attention than sermons. You step forward, deliberate, elegant. All eyes shift to you as you walk, silent, certain, unimpressed, across the courtyard, leap onto the low stone wall, and sit precisely beside the holy water bowl from yesterday. It is empty, like the patience of every clergyman present. The bishop's men notice you. They always do, but they never know what to do about you. The man with the scroll clears his throat. And this? Brother Martin answers quickly, a consistent presence. You approve of that phrasing? The visitor squints. Has it also been sanctified? Brother Martin blinks. Only by exposure. The pig farts. A long, proud sound. You do not flinch. The visitor closes the scroll tube. This display, he says, ends today. You knew it would. You lick your paw, slowly, precisely, as if to say, history doesn't need your permission to be remembered. Brother Absalom begins to argue. Brother Martin quietly pleads. The pig sniffs a dandelion and bites it in half. You jump down, pass through the arch, return to your perch above the kitchen door. You watch as the men circle the pig. You smell their doubt. You taste the ending. And just as Brother Tomas accidentally steps in the rosemary, curses loudly, and gets scolded by all parties involved, you close your eyes, because the story is not over, but the performance is, and what follows will not be gentle. They take down the ribbons first. Snip, toss, step. A red one lands in the mud. No one picks it up. It wilts there quietly, soaking up the rain that began 2 minutes too late to feel like mercy. You watch from the rafters of the bell tower. The wood smells of pigeons, rope, and old prayers. You press your body into the curve of a beam, tail curled around your paws. Below, dissolution. Brother Martin stands near the herb garden, eyes on his feet. The pig stands beside him, chewing something that might have once been ceremonial. The bishop's men move like wind through a library, discreet, disapproving, practiced. The pig's garland is gone. So is the bowl, the buckets, even the dandelion crown. Someone has washed the courtyard stones with vinegar. It smells like endings. You shift slightly on the beam. Wood creaks. No one notices. The pig sits in the exact same spot it was blessed in. Now it just looks tired. You understand that. One curious theory says animals cannot grieve what they never claimed. Another says cats understand silence better than anyone. You breathe slowly, in through the nose, mildew, basil, out through the mouth, nothing. Brother Absalom tries to explain. The villagers misunderstood. There was never an intention to elevate the animal. The visitor with the scroll responds without looking up, and yet coins were collected. Absalom frowns. By the visitors, not by us. Still, the man replies, collected. Brother Martin opens his mouth. No sound comes out. You leap from the rafter, land on the chapel windowsill. A quiet statement. The pig lifts its head. It sees you. Doesn't oink. It just breathes. You jump down into the courtyard. Walk slowly toward the garden. The bishop's men freeze for a moment, uncertain, maybe amused. You do not care. You sit beside the pig. Your tail flicks once, gently brushing its flank. The wind picks up. Rain begins in earnest now. You do not move. Neither does the pig. Brother Martin kneels, not to pray, just to be smaller. He reaches out a hand. The pig doesn't shy away. Brother Absalom watches all of it. He says nothing. The bishop's men turn to leave. One turns back. You'll receive a letter. Absalom nods. You'll respond within a fortnight. Another nod. They leave. No ceremony. No final word. Just wet footprints on old stone. You close your eyes. Rain traces lines through the fur on your back. The pig shivers once. Brother Martin stands slowly and walks away. No one says goodbye. The courtyard empties. Only you and the pig remain. You curl around yourself, pressing close to its side. Its warmth is steady, and as the last of the vinegar smell fades, replaced by soaked rosemary and tired soil, you sleep, because nothing divine has left this place. Only the witnesses. The crowd does not return. No more ribbons, no chalk halos, no songs, whispered or otherwise. Even the pigeons seem less curious. You lie on the warm, flat stone beside the pig, your usual spot now. The garden has begun to regrow around you. The rosemary, broken in half during the height of its fame, has sprouted new shoots. The basil is limp but stubborn. The pig no longer chews its tail. It no longer waits for visitors. It simply is. Like you, the bells ring without flourish. The prayers are quieter. The bread is saltier. Brother Martin no longer carries a ladle. He carries a broom. You sometimes follow him as he sweeps, soft paws behind heavy bristles. He never asks you to leave. You never volunteer to help. It's a mutual understanding, the best kind. One morning, he drops a crust behind the refectory. You eat it without thanks. He doesn't ask for any. One curious theory says miracles fade when no one tells the story. Another says some stories choose not to be told. You stretch. The stones beneath you are warm again, not from the sun, from repetition. From your body curling there every day at the same hour, you've pressed yourself into the monastery like a wax seal, unofficial but undeniable. The pig grunts softly. It has gained weight, it waddles with authority, its snorts are fewer but more meaningful. Brother Tomas still grumbles about sausages, but now only on Sundays. The villagers mention it less and less. At the market, the pig is just the monastery pig again. The miracle is now a memory, with soft edges. You're fine with that, because some things are not built for candles and incense and long, flowery retellings. Some things just happened, like rain, like silence, like you. You jump onto the wall that borders the garden. Sit tall. From here you can see the chapel roof, the herb beds, the cloister walk, everything that changed, everything that didn't. Out of Brother Absalom walks by with an armful of scrolls. He nods to you. You blink. He does not mention the pig. He has not in weeks. But he passes by slowly, like someone remembering something they won't write down. In the corner of the courtyard, a novice practices chants. He misses most of the notes. You close your eyes. The pig shifts beside the rosemary. Dust rises. The basil rustles. You purr. Soft. Steady. The kind of sound that says, I am still here. I saw what happened. I do not need applause. And just as the wind picks up again, bringing with it the smell of dry parchment, sun-warmed hay, and one small forgotten miracle, you rest your head on your paws, because this moment is not the beginning of anything. It is what comes after, and that, too, deserves to be remembered. The days stretch now, long and soft, like spun wool on a slow spindle. No more visitors, no more declarations, just the regular rhythm of a monastery that has returned to its proper business, praying, planting, forgetting. You nap longer these days. The stones remember your shape. So does the pig. It still naps beside you, belly rising and falling like a song no one sings aloud anymore. You rest your paw against its side sometimes, for warmth, for proof. Nothing sacred, nothing ridiculous, just presence. From your ledge beside the cloister arch, you can watch everything without moving. The novices march in rows, less crooked now, but still offbeat. Brother Martin tends the herbs, wordless. He no longer tries to bless them, just waters them, with care, with silence. He doesn't speak to the pig anymore, but he always nods when he passes. One curious theory says time erases miracles. Another suggests time just folds them inward, like dried flowers tucked between pages. You see it in the way Brother Tomas has stopped making jokes about bacon. You hear it in the way Brother Absalom says, no comment, when the bishop's letters arrive. You smell it in the chapel, still faintly of incense and guilt, but now also rosemary and damp fir. Even the air has changed. Lighter, slower. It tastes of clean stone, warm wood, and quiet decisions no one needed to write down. You rise, strut. You walk across the cloister. The pig watches you from under the fig tree. You leap onto the wall beside it. Together, you look out over the garden. It is imperfect. Weeds push between the thyme. The basil never recovered fully. A patch of mint now claims too much ground. But it smells good. You close your eyes. A bird lands nearby. You do not chase it. Brother Elias drops a ladle. No one curses. In the far hallway, a novice sings off-key. He doesn't stop. No one corrects him. And the wind moves through the arch like a sigh that's been holding itself back for months. You breathe in dust, hay, sleep, rain, forgiveness. None of it labeled, none of it explained. And just as the sun slides behind the chapel dome, casting long shadows that touch your tail, the pig snores, a deep rumbling sound that echoes through the garden like an unasked question finally being answered. You purr, once, low, barely audible, because this piece wasn't built on triumph. It was built on staying, and you stayed. It's raining, but softly. Not the kind of rain that demands shelter. The kind that soaks the edges of your fur before you realize it, then leaves you too calm to care. You lie under the wooden bench near the chapel. The wood smells of candle drippings and centuries of knees. Above you, Brother Martin hums as he sweeps. He's gotten better at sweeping. Oh, rhythm, less panic. He no longer tries to chase the leaves into tidy piles. He lets them gather where the wind likes them best. You approve of this. The pig watches from under the fig tree. It doesn't move. It hasn't moved much lately. Not from age, not from illness, just satisfaction. One curious theory says animals know when a story is over. Another says they only pretend not to notice its closing chapters. You shift your paws beneath you. Your claws click gently against the stone floor. You think of the courtyard when it was filled with people, the rustle of cloaks, the whisper of awe, the clink of coins in the well, the smell of roasted almonds someone tried to sell without permission. All of it gone, and yet nothing is missing, because you remember, because the pig remembers, because the grass still grows in that one sacred, slightly flattened square where the pig sat down and accidentally became holy. Brother Absalom passes by. He glances toward you, then toward the pig. He doesn't speak, but he leaves half an apple on the bench without slowing. It rolls once, then stops at the edge. You jump up, smith it. Not because you're hungry, because it was offered. The pig grunts. You share a glance. It says nothing, but everything, because here's what you both know. No miracles are coming. No one is watching. No one is writing scrolls or drawing charcoal pigs with crooked eyes. And yet, the garden is growing. Brother Martin laughs, actually laughs, when the broom handle snaps in half. Brother Thomas lets a child pet the pig's ear during market days. Brother Elias burns the soup and shrugs instead of swearing. And you nap longer. You no longer flinch at thunder. You know which windowsill stays warmest past sunset. You know which tile in the chapel leaks during storms. You know that silence can be full. You know the world didn't need another miracle. It just needed something to stay. And you did. There is a fog now. It arrives before dawn, draping the cloister in soft veils. It muffles the chapel bell, blurs the sharp corners of the archways, makes monks look like ghosts, and ghosts like regular conversation. You are already awake. You sit on the windowsill of the scriptorium, watching the mist curl into the herb beds. It tastes of ash, lavender, and sleep. Below, the pig is barely visible, just a round shadow in the garden. Be still, content, present. You close your eyes halfway, not asleep, not entirely awake, somewhere between memory and weather. Brother Martin crosses the courtyard. His sandals leave no sound. His robe trails the fog like it's listening for instructions. He doesn't notice you. He walks to the pig, kneels beside it. You tilt your head. He doesn't speak, doesn't touch it, just sits there, not in worship, not in doubt, just sitting, like someone who finally knows he doesn't need to understand something, to love it. One curious theory says cats live in liminal spaces, doorways, thresholds, between faith and fact. You stretch. The window creaks beneath you, a sound that feels like it's been waiting years to be heard. In the chapel, someone begins the morning hymn. The notes rise soft and unsure, like breath on a cold morning. No one harmonizes. No one needs to. Brother Tomas forgets the words halfway through. You hear him hum instead. You leap down into the fog. Your paws make perfect prints on the stone, brief and delicate and already fading. You pass Brother Martin. He smiles at you, only with his eyes. You nod, barely. The fog makes even nods feel like confessions. You curl beside the pig. Its breath is steady. Its eyes are closed. Dreams perhaps of rosemary and ribbons, or of mud and mercy, or of nothing at all. You nestle into its side. Its warmth is unchanged. A bird calls once from somewhere beyond the mist. The garden answers with stillness. And just as the sun begins to rise, not visible, just suggested, you let your body soften into the earth, into the fur, into the quiet, because this is what remains after miracles, not relics, not records, just warmth, and the living things that remember it. The pig no longer moves much, but it breathes, it dreams, it stays. You lie with it in the rosemary, under a sky that has forgotten how to be blue. The fog still comes each morning, softer now, like the breath of a tired world. No one visits. Even Brother Martin moves quieter, like he's learned the rhythm of letting go. He no longer sweeps every stone. He lets the leaves stay where they fall. He whistles sometimes, and when he passes you and the pig, he bows his head. Not from reverence, but from memory. One curious theory says the last breath of a miracle is always a sigh. Another says cats never forget where the warmth was. The courtyard smells of thyme, damp wool, and distant wood smoke. No incense, no vinegar, just the smell of things that last longer than stories. You do not leave the pig's side. You eat when someone leaves food nearby. You drink when the rain collects in the curve of a stone. You sleep. Often, the dreams come slower now, not as pictures, not as places, just textures, mud, warm skin, sunlight on old bricks. You wake once to find Brother Absalom standing in the doorway. He does not speak. He looks older, not in body, in eyes. He watches the pig. He watches you. He doesn't stay. You are not offended. This part of the story isn't his. You stretch, every muscle unfurling like a flag on a windless day. The rosemary scratches your side. The pig's breath brushes your ear. You feel the earth breathing with you. There is no bell, No call to prayer, only a soft rustling, wind in old ivy, unseen birds turning in nests, memories settling like dust on a closed book. You do not move. You do not need to. Because here, now, you are not guarding history. You are it. The miracle wasn't the pig. It wasn't the water, or the whispering crowds, or the robes and scrolls and gentle scandals. The miracle was that something stayed, that something soft endured, that two creatures decided, without ever agreeing, to remain. And just as the sun reaches the edge of the sky again, not rising, not setting, just drifting, you close your eyes, because there is still one part left, and you are ready for it. The world feels paused, not stopped, not broken, just held, the kind of stillness you only find in the last hour before dawn, or the moment before a candle flickers out. You lie pressed against the pig. Its side rises once, then again, slower now. The ground beneath you is soft, damp earth, fallen leaves, a bit of crushed mint from a novice's careless bootstep 2 days ago. Above you, the sky is the color of old parchment. Clouds drift like forgotten thoughts. You hear the chapel bell, but only once. Then silence again. A mercy. You open one eye. No monks. No chants. No movement, except for a single moth weaving drunken circles in the basil. You do not chase it. You haven't chased in days. You've learned not everything that moves is a threat or a gift. Some things are just moving. One curious theory says cats are drawn to the edges of sacred things. Another says they simply enjoy places that feel like goodbyes. The pig snorts in its sleep. A soft sound. You imagine it dreams of cool mud, of stolen apples, of the rosemary bush before it broke. You remember the first day, the spilled water, the crowd's gasp, the smell of vinegar and clover. You remember Brother Martin's hands trembling. You remember the silence that followed, the real kind, the kind that listens back. Now even the silence has grown older. You stretch your paw forward until it rests in the soft crook of the pig's neck. Its warmth is faint, but there. The garden is overgrown now. No one weaves the corners. The marjoram is blooming like it never cared about order. A single stalk of fennel leans across the path like a pilgrim too tired to kneel. You hear soft footsteps. Brother Tomas, maybe, or Martin. You do not turn to look. Whoever it is stops at the edge of the garden. He watches, waits, then walks away. No one disturbs you anymore. The monastery has learned something. Slowly, quietly, the way stone learns to wear down under rain. They've learned not all stories require endings. Some just release. The pig shifts, one long breath, then another, then stillness. You press your forehead against its shoulder, not sad, not surprised, just present. You purr, a small sound, not for the pig, not for the monks, not even for yourself, just for the space, for the rosemary, for the wind that passes through and leaves nothing behind but cool air and a feeling that someone noticed. The sun doesn't rise, not dramatically, not with gold or triumph. It just softens the sky, turns the mist pale, touches the edge of the cloister wall where your tail curls. You breathe in, old wood, crushed time. something like honey. You breathe out and settle. No bell rings. No voices call. No scrolls record this moment. But if they did, they'd write, "Here lies a cat, beside a pig, and everything that mattered."